Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today I'm giving you the first update on my palette project pan, which I'm shortening to palette pan. That might be in the title. If you're looking at me and wondering what is happening on my eyes, my eye look did not go to plan today. But anyway, in today's video I will be talking to you about each palette. There are 5 in this project. If you missed the start of this project pan, I will leave it linked in the description box. But the premise for this project is that I have 5 eyeshadow palettes that will be in this project all year round. I'll be updating you on the project every 3 months. I'm hoping to tell you the weights, although I've had a bit of an issue with my scales in that I'm not sure if it's working properly this time or if it didn't work properly last time, but I'll explain that as we go. And I'll be letting you know how I feel about the palettes. If you've been following my other project pan, I have a general project pan which has a full face of makeup, skincare, hair care and body care. If you've been watching those ones, then you will have known that I did have a bit of a question mark over my project, which I'll talk about a little bit, so you'll get a bit more of a feel for how I'm feeling towards the project in general. But if that sounds like something you're interested in, I know I just threw a lot of information at you, but if you are interested in hearing about how this project is going, please do just keep on watching. If you enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it is all makeup content, so if that sounds like your type of thing, this is the place for you. It's free and it makes me very happy. But other than that, let's get on with the video. Just going to start by talking about the project in general. This project includes 5 eyeshadow palettes that will be in the project all year round. I'm trying to just hit pan, use the palettes a bit more, get some use out of them, all those good things. However, I hit a bit of a roadblock because I also have my project pan which has a full face of makeup in it, and in that is an eyeshadow palette. And so therefore I have 6 eyeshadow palettes that I'm meant to be using, but obviously I'm not, because I'm not going to the office. I have a full-time job, so I'm not doing makeup all the time for YouTube and Instagram. It's just a lot, and I was feeling quite guilty about the fact I wasn't getting the use out of them that I should. So I had a bit of a think about it, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't think I'm going to change anything this year. I think next year, if I do my project panning again, because in case you didn't know, this is my first year project panning, I don't really know what I'm doing. Next year, I'm going to rejig it a little bit, in that I think for my general project pan I'll include an everyday work appropriate palette, and then I'll do a project similar to this where I have 5 palettes, but they'll all be fun, colourful palettes that I can use for when I do my YouTube and my Instagram looks. And I think I'm not going to have the same 5 in all year round. What I might do is once I've hit pan on one shade, I might swap out the palette, but let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any tips on how I can sort of work this out. If you have any other project pans that you think might work better for me, please let me know. Link some down in the comments, or let me know your favourite project pan creators and I can have a look at their projects. But right now I just felt a bit stuck, so if I don't have the progress you were expecting, trust me, I don't have the progress I was expecting. I thought this would be easier. The first palette is a Beautybay Wilderness palette. This is what I have on my eyes today. I used some of the like bottom shades. As you can see, there's no pan. I've not hit pan on this. This was relatively new to start with anyway. I only got it last year. The mattes work really well. They've not... Ignore what's on my eyes today. Normally they work so much better. I've just struggled today and I don't really know why. I think it's because it's neutral shades and I personally am scared of neutral shades. This row, this second row and these greens, that's my happy place. The bottom row, not so much. But I am really enjoying this palette. I'm hoping to have a picture up on screen of the palette and there'll be a number on top of each shade. That number indicates how many times I've used that shade in the past 3 months. I've used every shade in this palette at some point. I have filmed a palette play video with this. In case you don't know what that is, it's where I pick a palette at random from my collection and create 3 looks in one video. I have done a video with this palette for that series. I don't know if it's up yet though, but I have done it. So I used pretty much every shade in that video. I'm enjoying this palette. The problem is I'm now starting to hit the point where I don't know how many new looks I can do with it. I've done a lot of green looks, I've done some red looks, I've done a couple of blue looks, I've done looks with the browns. and now I don't really know where to go with it. I think it's going to be pretty repetitive. And the weight for this palette currently is 241, and it started at 241.41. That's not a lot of usage. I'm not too mad about it. It is what it is. Palette number 2 is the Revolution x Tammi Tropical Carnival palette. I already had all of these pans before we started. None of these pans are new. I have used this palette a couple of times. The only problem is, for me, this palette is an old favourite. I've loved this palette for many years, and it is a rainbow palette, and it was my go-to rainbow palette for so long. But now, I have so many other rainbow palettes that I just prefer, that this one kind of feels a bit old, not as good, but it still works fine. I need to sort of get past it in my head. I did try and create a few looks with the palette. Oh, there's probably pictures on screen of looks I've done with each palette, hopefully. So I did try and do a few looks with this. I was pretty happy with one of them, I think. The other one I wasn't too happy with, but that's fine. But yeah, I do like this. I just need to sort of force myself to use it. I need to think, if I want to do a rainbow look, I can use this palette. Also, I've had the problem of I've not been able to do a lot of just sit down and play with palettes for Instagram, because I'm currently revising for exams and I've got exams coming up, so I don't have the time. But I should really make the time, because realistically, doing 2 eye looks for Instagram takes an hour at most. So I can find an hour in my week to play with a palette. So I just need to. Basically, that's my problem, is that I just need to do those things. Again, I'm hoping on screen there's going to be a picture with how many times I've used each shade. But yeah, it's not a lot. I haven't used every shade in the palette this time round. Hopefully by the next update I will have, but right now I've not reached for it, which is a shame. I really should. Lesson learned. And the current weight for this is 214.32, and it started at 214.54. Not the best, but it is what it is. I like I said, I need to reach for it more. It's my own fault. The third palette is another one I've just not reached for, and it's frustrating me. And this is what was causing me to worry about my other project pan, because this is a very cute, everyday, work appropriate palette that I would use to within an inch of its life if I didn't have my project pan, where I have an everyday palette in that I've been trying to use, because that one's only here for 3 months, whereas this one's here all year round. But if I keep doing that, I'm never going to use this one. Once again, there'll be pictures up on screen of how many times I've used each shade. I haven't even used every shade in this palette, which is a bit pitiful considering there's only 8 shades. I'm pretty sure I've only done a look with this once. I don't know if I have a picture of it. If I do, it'll be up on screen. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, and this is what made me question having 2 project pans running at the same time. But I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep it as it is, and I just need to maybe at least force myself to reach for this every other time I go to the office, or every other time I'm doing like work appropriate makeup. I can reach for this one. I'm a bit disappointed in this one. Also, I feel like the pans are pretty small, so I could hit pan pretty quickly. I'm just not putting the effort in, which is a shame. And the weight for this one has barely changed. It is currently 75.03 and it was 75.18. I mean, it's some usage, it's better than nothing, but yeah, I will make myself reach for this one a bit more. I'm trying not to be too negative in this video. At the end of the day, I've worked hard and I've focused on these palettes, so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. It's just makeup at the end of the day. If I sound really negative, don't worry, I'm not actually that hard on myself. I'm just a little bit frustrated, but it's just makeup, so it doesn't really matter. Palette number 4 is the Lois Cosmetics Rose Metal palette. This palette unfortunately is no longer available, so it will not be linked in the description box. But I love this palette so much. So much. Some shades get used more than others. This shade, this shade, this shade, and the shimmers. The browns don't get used all that much, but it does have a black which I really like. That one gets used a fair amount of times. Again, picture up on screen showing you how many times I've used each shade. I've not used this palette loads. I do reach for this a fair amount of times. Not as often as I would like to, but like I said, I'm trying. It's fine. The current weight for this palette is 166.76 and it was 166.84. That's fine. It was at this point that I thought my scales might be messing up a little bit, because this palette and the final palette we're going to talk about, I tried weighing them, it showed like very similar amounts to the last time I weighed them, and that didn't seem right. So maybe weighing them isn't the best way, maybe I'm just not weighing them properly, but yeah. I think mainly I'm going to focus on usage, and you'll be able to see how many times I've used it in the photo that I put up. And the final palette is the BH Cosmetics Summer in Saint-Tropez palette, and it looks like this. I do have pan. This was mentioned in the start video for this series. I hit that pan when I was doing the makeup for that video. So I'm counting it as a pan I've hit this year, even though it was actually filmed slightly before the end of last year because I had to edit the video. But I'll put up on screen how many times I've used each shade. Again, not every shade has been used in this palette, which is a shame. Again, this is kind of similar to the Makeup by Tammi Revolution palette. I used to reach for this palette all the time. The shimmers are some of my favourite shimmer formulas ever, but I just don't because it's a bit older, and I could reach for the shimmers, and actually the palette I have in my project pan this time round for the next 3 months doesn't have many shimmers in it, so actually I could keep this palette out next to that palette and reach for these shimmers when I don't have a shimmer in that palette that I want to use. But the current weight for this is 154.26 and it started at 154.28. Like I said, 0.02 grams sounds wrong considering how I weighed it before I hit pan. So I've definitely used a fair amount of product. That's why I think that weighing it isn't going as well as I would have hoped. But this is a really nice palette. I actually used the yellow shade today. I filmed a video before this. I did use the yellow shade. So it still works amazingly. I just need to reach for it more. But there we go. Those are my palette pan project, whatever you want to call it. Those are the palettes that I'm working on. Unfortunately, no new pans to show you this time round, which is very annoying. Hopefully by the next update, now that I've got a bit of a feel for what I'm doing, hopefully by the next update I'll have a pan to show you. I'm actually going to take this makeup off and get ready to go and see a friend, so I'll use one of the palettes today, I promise, and that'll count in the next update. If you have any tips on how to make this easier for me or make the videos better for you, please do just let me know. I'm all for it. I'm all for switching things up to make things better. So yeah, there's not been much progress, but like I said, I'm not too mad at myself because I am still trying to find my feet in this. But yeah, if you could let me know, just tell me that I'm doing okay, that would help. But other than that, please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it's all makeup content, so if that sounds like the type of thing, then this is the place for you. I do have 2 project pans running, so I will leave both of them linked down below. I will also leave linked everything that is on my face today in case you're interested. But other than that, have a great day and an amazing week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.